Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's your desk. I thought it was like
His dog's black. His dog's black.
that always like covers where your dog is.
No.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
Welcome back to the final and third hour. Talk about dogs, apparently, is what we're doing.
Well, I was saying I can never see the full body of his dog because it's always covered by that white part, and I guess it's his desk.
That's because the dog goes under the desk.
Yeah. But I
You
wanna
did
see
see
the
my
dog.
adorable little dog.
I get to see Mathis's cat, like.
Is that what it is? It's a dog. It's a dog thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you got little Chubbs? Chubbs back there?
Chubb's a wiener.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's get on with this. Party tension has just made Rye walk off, and Thonk is upset, and Grauman's probably not going to sleep tonight. And just, we'll see what happens, man. I'm very excited.
Everyone's like a mess right now. Bear's confused. And, like, it's just like everyone's like, what is happening?
It's going to be good stuff. All right. Well, where do we pick up, Scott? Next morning?
What? No. They're gonna attack tonight, probably.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Ray isn't sleeping. That's a crazy thing to do right now.
Grauman is not sleeping. He's out to like find spies.
On the spy hunt.
So why was what is Rye and what are Rye and Grauman doing this evening if they are choosing not to sleep? So I know Grauman wants to find spies. Just very quickly, what's your technique to do so, and then what is Rye doing? So Grauman first.
I think Grauman's gonna first go find where Rye walked off to, and just like if he can. But if he can't find her, then he's gonna like go off and just like basically walk around the hallways of the keep and just see if there's anything suspicious or what he thinks is suspicious, and like basically shake people down to see like if they're spies. Absolutely.
Okay, you were able to find Rye, I imagine, relatively quickly. So like she knows all the little secret places to disappear to. So Rye, Grauman comes up to you.
Cool. Rye's just like arms folded, pouting on a wall in one of the hallways.
He's like, what was that about?
What do you mean?
You walking away like that. You never do that.
He doesn't care if they live or die.
True. But he did go to all that effort to get these people.
I don't know about him.
Well, you want to help me?
Sure.
Okay. I need to find spies.
Oh, God.
Okay. How about you check that way and I'll check that way?
Okay. He walks that way.
Cool. They just split off in opposite directions, walking down the halls. Rye's gonna take a more subtle approach and just like, as a thief herself, she is listening for like the noises, you know, like clatters at windows or just subtle sounds.
Roll for me a perception check, please.
Okay.
Like, Rad's gonna do like the legit way.
Grauman's going to pick up guards by the collar. Are you a spy?
Oh, nice, dude.
That's a good roll, finally.
All right, so you walking around listening for things. Every time you hear like a noise or whatever, okay, it's nothing. It's nothing. Now I imagine your character is not super jumpy and goofy necessarily or anything like that. What the hell was that? What was that?
No, what was
It's a
that?
bottle
Let's see it.
opener. It's from Hawaii. The little-
Oh,
Nice.
I figured the chat might like it. I don't know.
Banned. We're banned.
Yeah, she's covered, man. She's not
are there
naked.
tassels? Are there tassels?
She's wearing a swimsuit. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. So as you walk, I imagine she's not being very jumpy and what's that? You know, but walking around listening to things. Anytime that there is a noise that kind of catches her off guard, she does investigate it to some degree, and sadly, she doesn't find anything. Nothing that would make her believe foul play. Going to Grauman, Grauman walking around the halls. The first person she comes across is a servant who is taking a picture off of a wall.
Okay. Do I need to roll perception? Is this
No,
passive?
You see them taking a picture off a wall.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna like stand there and watch them. What's the picture of?
Well, with like a nice like bronze or brass frame around the picture. It looks to be of it's a portrait of a person. Who that person is, that you can't identify them.
And are they like on a ladder taking this down, or are they just like taking this off the wall?
They're taking off the wall. They're able to remove it. It's not like a huge portrait. It's small enough that they feel comfortable taking it down.
What is the person wearing?
Servant's clothes.
Grumman,
Very
like, I
simple.
guess Grumman's gonna observe and then be like, "What are you doing?"
I'm taking the finery off the walls to put them in storage.
He looks around. Are there any other paintings in like the road that look like they've been taken down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dust or like there's a clean spot.
And so there's multiples. Okay, he's like, "Oh," and he keeps walking.
Okay. So kind of walking around, making your way to the areas you know first, and then to ones you don't know, whatever. You make your way to the kitchens, where you do see 3 people in the kitchens cooking. 1 man, 2 women in the kitchens cooking. And all of them are just kind of going about this business. When you come walking into the door, 2 of them just kind of like look at you and go about with their business. One of them gets like obviously startled, like, oh, because you're large.
I'm gonna stand in the corner of the kitchen and watch them, and just like see if they're doing anything.
So first like 20, 30 seconds or so, they're just kind of like going about their business, stirring or mixing or cooking or whatever they're doing. After that, it's kind of like a, to which time passes. It's more of a, like they all kind of get intimidated. So after even a more time passes, they stop looking at you, but everybody has that somebody's staring at me from, something's over my shoulder right now. Like we're kind of uncomfortable feeling. And
Grumman would
and they're
like
going
to
about their business
start
like awkwardly.
sneaking. Grumman would like to start sneaking and continue on to the next room. So, do I need to roll a stealth?
Please.
Okay.
Nice.
So stealthily walking through the hallways, you eventually come across that old guy that really hasn't said any words so far, who's kind of hobbling the other way. You
He was
hear
very suspicious to me.
his shuffling before you see him, and then unless you're like intentionally hiding around the corner or trying to like run inside a doorway or something to hide.
Right. He's trying to be ninja. Grumman realized that the kitchen situation was probably not the best way to observe people because they realized he's there. And he's like, oh, they're not doing what they would normally do because they see him. So he's like, oh, I should probably be more ninja.
So he ducks inside of a doorway, just like a random door, goes inside of it and leaves it mostly shut, observing through. And the person very slowly starts shuffling past, making their way past the door that Grumman's in, observing them as they go. After he passes through the door, you kind of open the door up and you watch him, like as discreetly as you can, and you see he goes into another door, and he shuts it behind him.
I want to walk up to the door that he shut behind him and listen.
Sure. Make me a perception check again, please.
Oh, God.
Well, you don't want to rock with that stuff.
Passive perception or perception?
Perception, because you're actively doing it.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So you listen in and you can hear him shuffling around inside there a little bit, and you hear some stuff moving and whatnot, and then eventually kind of hear like and like a flop as he's sitting down, and then it goes silent from that point.
Okay. And does it look like the lights off and stuff like that? And if I look underneath the crack in the door?
Nope. There's you see flickering of light underneath there.
Okay.
You don't know what this door goes to, but this is not around other bedrooms.
Oh. Grandma's gonna open the door.
Okay, so you open the door and walk in, or at least open the door and look in, and you see this is actually a study. So there's like a bunch of books around and stuff like that. There are a few large cushioned chairs with like hard wooden frames to them. And he's sitting inside of one of them. And when you open the door, he kind of slowly looks over at you. And then when he sees that it's you there, kind of looking at him, looking at you, he's like looks a little perplexed. And he's like, yes.
Reading. He just says reading. Is there an extra chair for him to sit at?
There are a few chairs around. You go and sit in a chair.
Yeah, Grumman looks around and just like grabs a random book and he sits down. And he like tries to like look and see. Can I see what book the old guy is reading?
Sure. 5e, you guys aren't illiterate anymore, right? No. So, looking at the book he's reading, it's actually written in a language that you're not familiar with. It's not written in Damaran or Orcish. So you look at it and it's characters you don't know. But when you walked around him, you saw that it was words and it was images as well, but not like images like pictures, like scenery or people or whatever. It was like images of like symbols and like arrows and like things were circled and whatnot. So,
Okay. So then I just like I grab a book off the shelf because I'm like trying to like look at his book while I'm like grabbing a book, and then I grab the book and I sit down and I'm like, so what are you reading?
it's old strategy for times of war.
What are the symbols about? Use me straight up.
Well, you see, the horse here represents a group of men that would be mounted, and you see the shield here.
Grumman's getting impatient because this guy's like talking way
It's a
slower than
defensive
Grumman is.
position, and
He's like, oh, never
we're-
mind. It's fine.
Oh, I thought you wanted to learn some strategy.
I know strategy.
Yes, of course. Very well then.
He takes the book that he had and he like pretends like he's reading it and he keeps walking out the door, closes the door behind him, closes the book, doesn't know what to do with the book, puts the book down on the floor, and then he goes to be ninja again and he keeps walking through the hallway.
Okay, awesome. Good day, sir. So you keep walking through the hallway. You come across several other people, and your encounters are very similar to the first few, though maybe not as goofy each time. You do come across several other people, whether you be questioning them or watching them or whatever the case may be. Nothing really seems fishy to you. Nothing really throws you off with the people you're encountering.
He realizes that slowly nothing is suspicious happening, or at least in his mind, and he goes and takes a little bit of rest before he knows he has to be ready.
So the person that rests the soonest, and so therefore would be up the earliest, would actually be Otto. Does Otto actually want to get up early, or does he sleep in because what the hell, why not?
I don't think he's the early bird, no.
Okay, so then by the time that whoever it is that gets up first, or all of you get up, one of the things you do notice is that there are a lot of, there seems to be a lot of commotion around the keep. People are buzzing around quite a bit, doing a lot of things. So you notice this as soon as you move beyond, say, where your room is and the hallway that it's in. And you guys are all relatively close to each other, like all the rooms are near each other. So you notice this once you get to the more common areas. People are kind of buzzing around and doing a bit.
If people are there's like a commotion, I want to know what the commotion is. So
the first random passerby or whatever?
yeah, just what's happening.
This morning we started taking in the peoples from the town that are going to be protected down below.
And that's what the commotion is? People are just getting put down below?
Yes, into the, yes.
Okay. I'll nod. Usher him away.
Okay. So you guys kind of go about your business today. Now, is there anything specific that you wanted to accomplish this day?
Grumman just wants to make sure everyone's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Probably integrate like the actual like legit orcs that he feels are like ready for battle with like these newbie people to kind of help them, because he's like, they didn't understand, they don't know what they're doing, kind of thing.
Sure. So, Rye, anything specific she's trying to do today?
I would say Riot was up all night, like walking around, and she had an early bird's breakfast. And then the second she saw that like Fonk, etc., was starting to get up, she like actually went to sleep, and is sleeping.
Okay. Adam?
I'd like to go find the old man if I could.
Okay, and Thunk, anything specific you want to do today?
Staying with the 8 orcs. They're the only people outside of the 3 of them. Really, is the only 8 people that he trusts.
Awesome. Then we'll flash to Addo. Addo goes and finds the older man, asking around or whatever. You're eventually able to come across him, and he's going to be in the study again today. Do you imagine he slept last night? He is in the study today. So you gotta go inside there. He's reading a book, and there's somebody else inside there too. A younger person, much younger person, that is reading a book.
So I want to introduce myself to the older man. Haven't made your acquaintance yet. Adetumo Miltal.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, young man. And he extends his hand to shake yours. The name is Richter.
Richter. That's a fine name. And who might you be? I turn to the younger man.
Oh, I'm Petrie. I am the nephew, or the nephew of the Lord.
Petrie. You seem like a wise young man. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to impose. Would you mind just letting me speak with Richter privately for a while?
Oh, of course. I don't want to. And he turns to the older guy. May I take this with me? You know the rules, young man. Nobody takes a book out of this place. You don't know where you might find it later.
Gromit.
Somebody let me take the book out.
And so he's like, oh, of course. And he puts it back. and he walks out of the room a little dejected. He turns to you once the door shuts. What can I help you with?
I notion toward the book. Wise to be careful with your possessions, wouldn't you say?
Well, they're not my possessions, but that of my lords, and they need to be respected as such.
Yes, your lord does deserve respect, doesn't he?
Yes.
He's earned quite the reputation amongst his peers.
He's not one that likes to show fear.
And Richter, are you someone who likes to show fear?
Death is gonna befall me sooner rather than later. There's very little left to fear, I suppose. It was the way I go.
I like that attitude. I'm going to cast my friend's cantrip again. Richter, my companions and I, we fear what has transpired so far is misleading, and we seek guidance. Is there anything you could tell us that might help us accomplish what we need to accomplish today? Maybe some information that otherwise wasn't revealed?
Roll your double diplomacy, sir. Or, sorry, persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah.
Show my roots. So you say that to him, and he says, I believe the Lord was fairly candid with you when he explained everything that you should know. He's not really one for keeping secrets if it's going to mean difficulties for those that are his subjects.
Difficulties are certainly something we want to avoid. Well, thank you, Richter. I appreciate your time. I go to leave, shake his hand, and make my way out.
And yeah, so he's got, and then you go. Okay. So flashing forward to that evening, everybody's doing whatever they're doing all day. Eventually, there is a lot of alarm that happens as people are like, "Oh my God, here they come! We're under attack!" And everybody calls out the alert, the alarm. The orcs jump up to arms, and all of you guys get ready, running to. We should probably even go over that, where it is that you want to be prepared to be. And as everybody goes to check out what it is that's happening, you see that those that are approaching are actually a bunch of orcs.
Yeah.
When I say a bunch of orcs, when they eventually come to the front door and the four of you go to greet them, I assume all four of you are there to greet them. If you're not, that's fine. So when you go to greet them, you actually see that it is Captain Gratz himself.
Nice.
With 70 orcs, with 60 orcs behind him.
Holy shit.
And he's standing there, and all of them are they've traveled, and they traveled rapidly, so they're looking a little tired, but they're all there. And they're all there, and they're like, so what is it? As they approach, they kind of like, let us through. We're here for when you go down to meet them. I apologize. When Thonk goes down to meet them, he, ignoring everybody around him, immediately goes up to Thonk. Now the noble, who is kind of like, stay back. He is now making his way forward now, but the first person he sees is Thonk. He walks up to him and he says, I have done it. I have done what you requested, and I have brought many men that are here to happily fight. There are others that were willing to come, but these are the ones that wanted to come. I figured.
Yeah, I know what that means.
And while Thonk's doing that, Grumman's like trying to calm people down. He's like, no, they're with us. They're with us.
Otto has seen just like scores of orcs, and he's running around like outside the circles of them, just like trying to count as many as there are. Just so excited.
Oh, the orc back rides.
My good lord, my goddamn metagame sense is tingling. Ugh.
Okay, so Addo is able to count that of orcs specifically. There are like 48 of them, leaving about a dozen half orcs that are amongst the group plus Grat, so 61 in total, 69 if you include the other 8 that came with Mathis before. And so he says.
So I've made this count. I go up to Rye. Hey, guess how many orcs we have?
69.
Hello.
Oh, my God.
Grumman actually, now that I think this is the first time he's seeing you all day, Rye. Kind of like whispers, but like probably not that well, is like, so, did you see anything suspicious last night?
No, did you?
No, but the old man was reading a weird book. I couldn't read it. And someone was taking all the paintings.
Okay. And the cooks were cooking.
Yeah. And the cooks were cooking. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Ryder's kind of like stares dejectedly at Grumman. She's speechless. Just nods.
Good job. All right, so he says, so what have we learned of the attack? He says to Thonk.
Nothing yet. They haven't shown. I do know that the Lord, the noble himself, would like to be out in the open when the attack occurs and not somewhere
Have we
safe.
sent scouts yet?
No, I only have the 8, and his men are green. They wouldn't survive if they.
That's fine. I hope you don't take offense to this, Thonk, but you're a man of the cloth, and your words are fine. But when it comes to war, it belongs to, well, others. So I'm going to take control of this situation right now. And he turns around without you saying anything.
No, yeah.
Walks up and points at like a half dozen orcs and says, go out and scout. Find out what it is that's going to be coming our way. Do not return unless you have news. He goes over to the other orcs and says, I'm sure there are beds for you to spend the night, and I'm sure there's food for you to eat. Find what it is and go and have it. Then he turns back and sees the noble as they're kind of like spreading out, like wasps with a nest being smacked. The noble comes walking up and sees like all this happening, and he's kind of like taken aback for a moment. But when he sees that it's specifically Gratz that's there, he seems a little he's significantly more relaxed with that. So he walks up to Thonk and Gratz, the other 3, of course, watching, and says, Captain, it's been a long time. It's good to see you. And the 2 of them shake hands. And the noble says, like a kind greeting, like something that like one chieftain would say to another in Orcish to Gratz. And Gratz replies in kind. And then he says, are you here for this encounter as well? And Gratz responds, yes. He's like, then I know that this is a matter to be taken seriously. Have we found any new information? I'm taking care of it right now. So The two of them very quickly kind of just come to realize what it is that needs to happen and so on. So to sum that up, without talking to myself for very long, they decide that of the 68 orcs that came with Gratz, 64 of them, because Mathis had already said otherwise, or Thunk had already said otherwise, that he wanted to keep 4 with him, so without stepping on his toes, 64 of the orcs plus Gratz will stay outside of the keep, and their jobs will be to split up amongst the safety places that are set up for the humans. He reminds the captain where they are, who knew of them prior, and they kind of go out to protect those areas, leaving again only 4 of the orcs behind here to help you guys out with what's going on inside the keep. And that's pretty much what's happening at this point in time, with the chaos that's kind of buzzing around and then a little bit of direction being put to it. And eventually everybody floods their way out of the keep to go to their respective locations, and different like hierarchies are put up for who's commanding who and whatnot. This is done in a very orcish fashion. It's not like preset and people have ranks that they need to go in and respond to. It's kind of like, oh, you with them over there, and they kind of fall in line. And it's kind of nice because whereas this might seem chaotic to you two more civilized people, I imagine Gromit almost feels this like pull, like, oh, I want to be with
I
them.
was just waiting, yeah. He's just
Yeah.
like,
So fuck the gold. I want to be with them. And that kind of is how things settle for the rest of the night, with the scouts going out. Again, unless there's something specific you guys want to do for this evening, I'm even going to be able to flash forward to the morning.
Yep.
Where in the morning, enough time passes. It's morning, afternoon, and even early afternoon, when finally an orc runner comes back and says that they need to. So comes back to the town, goes and speaks with Gratz, who then comes and speaks with you guys. So inside the keep, kind of like a meeting is pulled together rather quickly. Over inside the, just because it's a large enough area where everybody can speak, over inside the dining area. Now the dining area has been very quickly converted into almost like a war chamber, where there's been maps laid out of the town itself, of the keep itself, and it's like those little different figures that are kind of put up around there. It's one of those things where you're almost surprised with how well organized this is. The only thing that doesn't keep you from being like, are you kidding me right now, is you remember this is the same lord that defended these lands only so long ago. So when you go into this room to meet with one another, Gratz comes in, and he's the one with the information. So pleasantries aside, Gratz informs you, one of our scouts came back, and they did come with news. It's through the Broken Tooth tribe of gnolls that have been hired. I guess all of you guys are welcome to roll a history check, though if you're not from here, Addo and Gromit, you have to roll a disadvantage to see if you know of the Broken Tooth tribe.
oh man. Disadvantage.
Wow, shit.
Rye doesn't leave the scene. ever.
It's only Otto. Jesus.
I have a -2, so I'm not surprised.
So, Otto, what you know of the Broken Tooth tribe, ever successful, is that the Broken Tooth tribe is a tribe that actually lives in between the borders of the country of Thay. Super short version of that. Thay is a country that's controlled by a whole bunch of powerful, evil wizards that have slaves and blah, 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 blah. Gromit, you do know who Thayans are. So between the country of Thay and the country of Thesk, they kind of like live on the border, going between the two of them, and they're peoples for hire. It's a war tribe or band that goes around, and they can do things from honest work of defending people in caravans to whatever it is that you're paying them to do. The exact size of their tribe, you don't know, but you do know it's not a small tribe. They're always willing to take on jobs, either as a whole tribe or as a partial. And the news that Gratz is delivering is it sounds like the whole tribe has come to do this. So if you were to guess, Addo, their numbers are probably somewhere around 50.
Okay. So I just convey this information to the team, I suppose.
Thank God we got troops.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I think it just
Yeah.
pretty straightforward.
Okay, so you lay it out and reactions from people's.
I don't look like I have a reaction.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think this is what Rai expected to a degree.
Okay. I imagine Rye is happy to be on this side of the walls.
Yeah. But when we were given the task, we were sent as almost a warning party because we were told there would be some kind of big force. So she isn't surprised, kind of relieved that the orcs have shown up because the 8 orcs we had wouldn't really probably have been sufficient.
Grommen is like enthralled. He's excited.
Grommen, I'm sure, is a little upset that he is on this side of the walls. Different perspectives, right? So once this information is laid down, they kind of go into their like battle planning of where it is that they're going to put people to defend and so on and so forth. It's actually about an hour and a half later that somebody else comes running in, another orc heaving in breath and pouring with sweat, that they inform you that there is another group of people coming from the other direction. It is a much smaller tribe of orcs. This name you guys don't even know. They're called the Tattered when translated to Damaran, or the common tongue that you speak. They're not they're a much smaller force, which is what this orc is able to tell you. There may be 24 strong or so, and they're heading from the other direction. So again, like they start reshuffling the plans that they have for how to defend the city. But I imagine all of you, your plans remains the same. Stay inside the keep, let the orcs do the work. That's why Thunk brought them, and defend the family. Mm-hmm. So with all of this new information, where is it that you want to defend this family? This noble is pretty, Havel is pretty locked down. I want to be standing outside of my keep. Neither my wife nor I are afraid to be in this situation, and we want to be seen as strong backed when we meet our enemy. So he's very much
want to be in the keep too, in the courtyard.
She is going along with what her husband says.
They're united front.
I still think it's stupid that they want to be out here.
Oh yeah, Grommen is completely on board with you. He does not agree that they should be out there. But since they insist, I mean, unless someone can convince them, I mean, we can try once more. Maybe we can like assist each other in the convincing. But
Otto has absolutely no grounds to speak on here, so he's just gonna.
You have as much grounds as we do, man.
I suppose. I mean, he's a third of your size, though. I think just the sheer 6 foot tall orc existence is enough to convey.
I mean, I'm not above just punching him in the face and knocking him out and dragging him into a room and having 4 orcs guard him. Like,
we won't let you do that.
I'm just saying, like, I don't.
that is totally what Thunk would do.
So, do you guys express these concerns?
Oh, I do. Absolutely. I will say, under no circumstances do I think you should be out in this courtyard.
The only concession I'm willing to make in this, and he kind of like responds with a heavy hand.
Yeah.
So the only concession I'm willing to make in this is if they wanted to meet me inside my main, my apologies, I forgot the words. Inside like the main chambers, inside where it is that my seat is, then they're welcome to meet me at my seat. But once again, I will not be hiding in some
like a throne room or something.
Yes. And actually, just to give you guys a visual of exactly where that is.
I can.
And of course, the last person to see it, Anna.
Let me pop that open for everybody. Who is someone making tea, or is a plane taking off?
I have a forced hot air heating system, and so that's a radiator.
So that works.
My house is 177 years old, Mathis. What do you expect?
Yeah. That's fine.
I don't see whatever we're supposed to see
Yeah,
if it's supposed to be on roll 20.
Oh, you don't? I do.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Really?
That's right. The street. We could probably see on.
Vast blackness.
That is weird.
Really? Grommen is not controlled by Grommen?
I can see it. I'm looking at the Twitch stream now. I can see
Probably
it.
true. Grommen really. Honestly, let's be real. Grommen is not controlled by Grommen.
Yeah.
That is confusing because everything says
All
it
right.
should be.
You
Do you guys
that.
want to try?
Hang on, I'll be right back. Keep going. Keep going.
Do you guys want to just refresh your screen?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, I can try it. See if that works.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks.
It's all
No,
good.
it's still just
I
seeing
don't need.
black.
I don't need to see it. I just.
Oh wait, hold on. Here we go. I found it. I scrolled down a little.
Oh, let me try doing this.
You gotta
There we
center
go.
us on
Yeah,
it.
it's
Bam!
zoomed in. Yeah, there we
There
go.
you
Okay,
are.
got it.
Ha! My apologies.
All good.
Technical difficulties. So this is actually the throne chamber. So, whoever is watching on Twitch, you can see what it is that Mathis can see, and luckily he can see what everybody can see. So you should be able to see what we all see.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, this is what we were talking about. So with all the commotion and everything that's happening, see, this is the old man that's with them. These are the guards outside. Okay. So engaging in conversation.
Sorry, I had to stream. Or I had to stream and sneeze. Freudian slip.
You had to stream. Not gonna stream real quick.
I'm so used to saying the word stream.
I think Rye approaches the wife and she says, I would much prefer if we were in your husband's throne room as opposed to outside.
She says, almost rehearsed. But the problem with being inside of a place like this is that we could be cornered.
The problem with out there is arrows, you see. So
Here's the thing. Yeah, you may be cornered, but we have a chokehold. We have one place that they can come through, and we have the advantage because we are defending.
Do you know of any other entrances to the throne room?
No, I don't.
I mean,
I'm asking the lady.
There are several different ways into this room, including that stairwell over there. Gesturing, to her left, you guys right side of the map. There are several different ways in here, many doors and the like, but we know where they all are. So should somebody open one of those doors, we should see the door open. She says almost coaxingly.
Grauman doesn't agree with this room then. He thinks that we should be in a room that's like, there's one door, he knows where that door is. One person can be in the room with them and they can be on the outside of it.
I'm in a goddamn supply closet.
Right?
Yeah, like exactly. Put them in the supply closet. I'm fine with this. Like there should only be one entrance and then they can protect it. That's Grauman's stance on it, but I mean
Rye looks at Grona and she's like, well, if it's a choice between this or the outside, I think we should take this.
he nods. Grauman's like, fair enough.
I'll agree with that. If that is, I mean, again, I'm not above punching him in the nose and knocking him out and dragging him away, but that's going to cause more issues probably than fix anything.
I think the party is campaigning to the Lord to do it in the throne room.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of putting in their 2 cents, and even his wife, in a much more mild way, has kind of turned on him, and he's like, very well then, in the throne room it will be. We will stay here and defend ourselves. I just cannot have the people seeing us be frightened of this threat. We will not back down from any threat that comes our way.
Wonderful.
So, again, this is kind of like where you guys decide to be. So, again, flashing forward a little bit, the plan is, should there be word of attack, this is immediately where everybody's going. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
From what the scout said, it will be a couple of hours before the Knolls begin to clash with, come into the city and start to fight. In those couple of hours, does anybody try to like slip off to get some rest? Obviously, you can eat and drink or whatever you'd like. Or is everybody kind of like doing their own, oh crap, shit's about to get real, pre-combat, meditative, whatever?
Yeah.
You know,
prepping for that.
Addo's off in the corner writing a new song about how awesome he is, and Rye's brushing her hair, and Gromans just wants to punch him in the face.
I think Rye goes back to the room she's sleeping in, and you see her open the door, and you see like the bed linen is on the ground because the bed is too soft. She can't sleep in it.
Huh.
So she's been sleeping on the floor. And she just kind of like sits on the edge of the bed and opens her pack, and she pulls out the spyglass that she helped herself to before, the old one that's got some breakage. And she just kind of like rolls it through her fingers and stares at it. And wonders if that voice she heard might play a part in the battle to come.
And I suppose we will see that when the battle begins. So,
Grauman's probably checking all of the entrances in that room.
Checking for spies.
Yeah, not for spies, but like
I'm
checking to see like where they all are, where they lead to, making sure that there's somebody there at all of those entrances, making sure there's a guard so that no one can come like surprise them without like some kind of fair warning. And then if he can, finding some, like maybe some of the other people who can help set up some traps and stuff like that might be helpful as well. So he's more, he's just like strategy driven right now. Like he's just like, what can I do to make sure? Because he doesn't get to go out and fight like with all the other orcs. So it kind of makes him sad. So he's just going to try to like do as much as he can, like in the situation that he's in.
Otto has begun writing the lyrics to our victory song.
of course.
I love it.
And Thunk?
Keeping a close eye on the Lord, staying within eyesight of him, basically at all times.
Okay. So as the time passes, and everybody's kind of growing nervous, the plans have already been set. Everybody already knows what they're doing. Nobody needs to sit inside the war room. There's no siege or anything like that happening. So the war room, you know, it's the dining room, which. There's no siege happening or anything like that. So finally, you catch word from a guard popping open the door and hollering. It has happened. They've come to the town, and you can kind of like the tension really settles in on everybody. The more invested you are, the more tension you feel, the more nervous you are. You can see that the wife of the Lord, Alethra, she is kind of like gripping her chair and has like her noble smile on, and oh god, you know, and you can see that the old man is kind of like, all right, it's another war. And the Lord himself, Pavel, he is Pavel, while he is obviously concerned about his people, he's just ready. He's just kind of like, it's like one of those, all right, just give me the damn needle, let's get this over with, you know. It's happening now. At least it's happening now. No more tension or buildup. So there's a bunch of mixed feelings happening inside of the room. At the same time, all of a sudden, one of the servants come bursting in from one of the other doors and says, "There's commotion downstairs with the common folk that are hidden. There's blood everywhere. There's bodies. We don't know what to do." And all of a sudden there's like this
town, but me with spies.
There's like a bit of a frantic thing, like they're frantic in the eyes, and the noble's concerned as he immediately
Grauman looks around, spies.
The noble immediately jumps up and is like, and goes forward to see to the people there.
The fuck are you going? No. I like if he looks like he's about to move, I swiftly step in front of him and I will put him back in his seat.
Grauman as well.
Yeah.
With your hand, you shove him back into his chair.
It is the time in Thonk's mind. The time for respecting nobles is gone. Right now, he is my duty. Fuck everyone else.
To which he looks up at me, looks at you in the eyes, and this is the first time you see like flared anger. He's like, "I don't know who you think you are, but
boom! I'll pop him in the face.
It's time for us to."
Yeah, I will pump him in the face.
It's time for us to call it for the night. We have to leave it at that. So it looks like.
No.
So we're going to hold that roll. We're going to put that on lockdown. Okay, we're going to hold that for next time. But that is it for today. We're going to have to leave it as a combat is happening, I guess, next week as opposed to this week. So
This was the Dragon Ball Z episode of Lost Initiative.
I know it
Yeah.
really felt that
This
way,
was.
right? Ah!
And then it just ends.
Yeah. Tune in next week.
Oh. I gotta remember. I'm about to punch the noble in the face because that is the first
We
thing that
cut
happens.
like mid-frame of your
Yeah.
fist,
Oh,
like
it's
about
like-
to lodge into his skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, sit down, and you're like,
Oh, good lord.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for joining us on week 4 of Lost Initiative. It was really fun. The first official month is now done. No, we got one more. We got one more day. One more week in November. That's right. Yeah, we only doing 3. We debated doing 4 hours, but because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, people need to cook and families and all that stuff. We're gonna have to cut
I'm
it at
just not
3.
one of these people.
I cook for multiple.
It's
families.
him mostly. Scott cooks like
I'm
every
doing some
single
cooking,
year.
Too. It's gonna be mostly my wife, and I'm gonna help with the cranberry sauce and the mashed potatoes and stuff.
Nice. I'm going to medieval times, so see ya.
Nice. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll go around the room, let you know where you can find us on the social medias and all that good stuff. As always, starting with Sam.
Hi.
Hey,
What's
Sam.
up, guys? My name's Strippin. You can find me streaming pretty much every day, except tomorrow, 'cause it's Thanksgiving. Twitch.tv/Strippin, or you can tweet me about the show or anything else
Hell
at
yeah.
Strippin on Twitter.
And how about
Wait,
you,
wait,
Mr.
hold on. You're British. What's your excuse for not streaming tomorrow?
He's in the
'Cause
States.
My fiance is not British,
Oh, okay.
and I'm at her family's house
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Oregon.
I respect, I suppose.
You moved to the U.S. now. You have to celebrate no matter
I don't
what.
give a shit about Thanksgiving. I heard the food is great. That's all.
The
Yeah.
food is great.
That
You
reason
probably share
alone.
the opinion of like 95% of Americans.
Someone
on it.
trying to tell me what Thanksgiving's about? I don't want to hear it.
It doesn't matter.
It's not even
What's on
about-
the table?
It's not even about Thursday. It's about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when you're making your sandwiches and your.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh,
Oh, that's
that's
the
That is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's when you're
those sandwiches.
thankful.
Those sandwiches
Yeah.
might be better than the Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely.
Bear, where can people find you, good sir?
Eating a turkey sandwich tomorrow, man. That's for damn sure. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, BAER Taffy. I also host a podcast called Roundtable with Mathis, Northern Lion, Rock Lee Smile every Friday over on twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast.
Hell yeah. Ms. Maggie, where can people find you?
I'm Margaret Crone on all the places. Twitch, Twitter, well, everything. Any social media, probably got it. It's cool. And I'm actually going to stream after this, as per usual, so I'll be over there. And I hope that you guys are having a wonderful giving of thanks. And if you don't celebrate it, still give thanks, because that's always a nice thing to do.
Yeah, be good people, goddammit.
Yeah.
Unlike
Don't
Thonk.
be like Thonk.
Don't be thunk. This Thanksgiving, just don't be thunk.
Don't give Thanksgiving.
Oh, shit.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
How did it take 3 hours to come up?
I don't know. Just get over it.
Well, we
Still
better end
all the
now.
props.
This
Still
is
all
the
props.
peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could call this episode Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Actually, he did bring us a lot of orcs.
I piss people off,
For
however.
me, that's a Christmas present.
Mainly-
so
Fair, though. What is Thanksgiving without some pissed off people, right?
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God.
No.
That's
No?
true. I mean, it's pissed off Rye, and rightfully so. Like, Rye has every right to be mad. Scott, where can people find you? On Twitter.
On Twitter. My handle on
Yeah.
Twitter, and that's it.
That's it. And for me, you guys can find me at twitter.com/MathisGames, twitch.com/MathisStar. Don't go to Twitch. And
Say it out loud.
I don't want to say it. You can't make me, man.
TV/Mathis Starcraft.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ew.
the
don't
first
think-
time I
we
saw
don't
the
think
host
we were
for
proud
Mathis
of lives.
Starcraft, I was like, is that Mathis?
Yeah. I can't change it.
Always.
Yeah. Twitch won't let me change it.
No, Mathis, my first stream that I ever did was StarCraft. So
Yeah, that's where I started. See,
You were
Totally.
smart enough not to name your channel after it, isn't it?
yeah, that's true. I was not. I'm like, StarCraft 2 is going to be around forever, and it's always going to be
Hell yeah,
popular.
dude. Never gonna die.
To be fair though, he didn't tell any of his friends about that for like 2 years.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we couldn't make fun of him enough to change it.
Yeah.
So he was just stuck with it. He was just stuck with
And
it.
you can find me at youtube.com/MathisGames and youtube.com/JudgeMathisGames. I've got a new review going up on hopefully Friday. At the latest, it'll be live Saturday. And then December starts, and Judge Mathis will be starting its Star Wars month. which is very exciting. So
Yeah.
check that out. Thank you guys again for coming by. And we will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.